Alright, doing an RE4R01A, doing an LS kit, which is a kit with clutches, reverse drum bushing, and pump bushing. You can see they packaged them wrong, but at least I got the right bushings. Filter, which has not showed up yet. I think that's it for this one. We'll get going on this one. Alright, low and overrun, actually forward and overrun. I'll get it right here in a minute. And depending on what type of pistons you have as to what O-rings you're going to use. And if you'll notice, the inner ones are real close to each other, so you got to be careful you put them in the right spot. And the outer one on here, this one is a D-ring. You see how it's flat on the inside and it's rounded on the outside. This one goes here. Some of these have a lip seal like that, and the lip will face up towards you. And your inner piston, this is for the overruns. And take the bigger of the inner ones, I got that right? No, I got that backwards. The bigger one goes on the forwards and the smaller one goes on the overruns. Here we go. And then we got a D-ring again on this one. Like I said, some of them have a lip seal, so we're not using those. Forward piston we're going to put so that the opening for the steels is like that, where the steel slide down in there. It's got even room on each side. There's a check ball in here. We want to make sure that that thing is free and rattling around. This is our return spring for this drum. Springs go down in the holes, and if you look at the tips of your snap rings, there's a taper to it. You want the taper up. And if it moves on you, just kind of move it back. Alright. You may have extra clutches. I had an extra clutch on every drum except for the high drum. So we got a cushion plate with the dish down. We got a steel, overrun, 2 steels, another clutch, 2 more steels again, another clutch, and our pressure plate, and our snap ring. Check our clearance, seems pretty good. I got another cushion plate dished down, forward steel, and clutches. Now these clutches here, they come in different thicknesses, so make sure that you get the right ones. If your clearance comes out too tight, it's usually what's going to happen. You take the thinner ones. I believe they are 62 and 79 if I remember right. Pressure plate, flat snap ring, and above that's another snap ring groove. Another flat snap ring goes there. Reverse drum. Always replace that bushing. Alright, here again we got similar in size inner seals. See how this comes out. I think this one goes on the high drum. No, it goes here. Alright, the big one goes on the reverse drum. We got a lip seal facing out towards us. Got two check balls. Make sure that they're nice and free. Make sure your lip's not rolled. Lip seal tool. You can use anything you want. Feeler gauge. Piece of plastic. Some of these kits got these little lip wizards that come in there. This is a snap-on drawer lock tool. It's what I've always used, and it's worked really well for me. Our reverse return springs. Here again, we're really close in size. We want the bigger one for the reverse drum. Taper of our tips up. Alright, there's different clutches for your reverse depending on which high drum you got. Cushion plate dished down. Steel. Clutch. Steel. Clutch. And pressure plate. Good. High cut clutch drum. We got D-rings on this one again. Another check ball. Alright, return spring. Taper of our tips or up again. Alright, steel and clutch alternate up to the pressure plate. Flat snap ring. Alright. Now sometimes on these you might want to check your sealing rings, make sure that they are the right size. It's not very often, but I have run into some situations where they were not right. So we'll check the high drum first. You want to put sealing ring down in your drum and bring the ends together to where it's pretty much level, and there should be no more than I think it's 7 or 9 thousandths gap in between, but you really want next to no gap in there. I mean, it needs to be pretty snug. There's no gap on these for the high drum. Let's see what the reverse drum is. The high drum is butt cut. These normally are also, but in this kit they are like this, and they're going to go together like so. That's good. 3 of these are going to be for the governor, which we don't have because it's an electronic unit. It should be those 3 right there. These 4 are for this support, and this is for the pump. So we don't need these 3 because these are for governor and we don't have one. Good. Usually if one of them's good, they're all good. It is something that you want to watch out for, especially on your high and reverse drums. That's where I normally see them at. Alright, so we got the bearing here. You can just leave it on there. Get you some fairly thick grease, and gonna put some down in the ring land. You can run it all the way around if you want to. I find that 3 to 4 spots is plenty good. And these are butt cut again. They're gonna sit end to end. I take them and I just give them a little tweak. That helps keep them in the groove. Try not to bend it out too far because it will reshape them. Make sure that you're in the right groove. There. Looking good. Now on the back here, see how there's 3 holes here. This one's not threaded. I get a line-up pin and I usually stick one right there, and I'll stick one down here. This is our return spring for the low reverse. It's going to sit on there just like so. Once we get it down in the case, it's our low reverse piston. D-ring on the inside. And lip seal on the out. The lip faces up towards you. Alright, servo. There's different size of this area right here. I'll give you several different ones for it. Pick you one that is the tightest that you can go without being too small. I mean the biggest that you can go without being too loose. What I'm thinking of here. Same way on here. Alright, this is going to go down. Got thin O-ring goes on top. Oop, went too far. Big O-ring goes on the bottom. Servo goes inside. Come on now. There we go. It sits on top. And our springs go on top of that. They say you can leave one of these springs out. I'd always put them both back in. I've never had the problem that they say it cures, so I haven't never had to worry about it. All the rest of this we're not going to use. Alright, usually your bushing is going to look like that, and you need to check your grounds and your battery terminals on this and make sure everything's good. And you can see how thick that bushing is. It's a pain to get in there. You really need a press, not an arbor press. You need a press to put it in there. Either that, you're beating the crap out of it to get it in. And there's a lip right here, so the bushing goes out the other side. Make sure you don't go too far and break that out. You don't want to break that out. Make sure that your seal lines are going the same direction. And I put 3M weather strip adhesive on the outside. Now your front seal you can put in with an arbor press, but that bushing is not going to go in with an arbor press. It takes a lot of force. Normally as bell housing comes off the pump, somebody's silicone need crap out of it, and you're supposed to put a thin layer of silicone on there. Now, I wasn't going to try to break it loose, so I'm just going to leave it It obviously is not going to leak there, so I'm not too worried about it. Alright, use a bench builder stone, and you can get that from Witt or Transtar. It's I think this one came from Transtar. Part number was T-35289. Come in handy. Went ahead and cleaned up the surface here. They had I don't know what they did right here, but it looked pretty rough, so I cleaned that up a little bit. And we're going to take this out, take this O-ring out. Get you an O-ring here. You're also going to want to check clearance on this slide. This piece right here. And put your pivot pin in. And you want to make sure that this slides nice and easy. And I'll find out what the clearance was supposed to be on here. They want you to grind this down. I mean, you can take some off of here because it's not sealing right here. This little rubber piece in here is what's sealing. So you can always take some off of here. Okay, and like I said, I always keep my old ones. That's what I reuse. Put a little grease on here to help keep this up in there. And then you want your spring. Spring and your retainer. This is the way I do it. I find it easiest for me. Put that on there. Put your spring on here. And just shove it down in there. Put your pivot pin in. And once you got your pivot pin in, then you can take this thing and put your little bit of grease to hold it all in place. Put your one rubber on that end. Put your other rubber on this end. And I pry down on the slide. Try to drop it in there fairly straight. Like so. Make sure your rubber is all the way down, and put your other pivot pin in. Then you can check and make sure that everything's working okay. I find that usually these new ones for this, sometimes they're okay. Like that one would probably spread out okay. Usually they're way short, so I just keep the old one and stick it back in there. You got your guide ring, your pump gear. See how this is a little bit recessed right here? The stator has to sit in that recess. Okay, you can see on your vanes where the guide rings were riding. Let's put those back towards the guide rings. be like that. And of course I'm a vein short. Alright, put your other guide ring on and line up your pump gear to where it's pretty much centered. Got your feed holes. These are going to go on there. The pivot pin's got to line up in there. Try not to move your pump gear. And hopefully when it all goes down, it lines up. Make sure it's all the way flat. Alright, we got these 12 millimeters. Pump O-ring on the outside, our pump washer. These are fairly bad about breaking. The bearing sits on top here, and then we need to put some grease in our sealing ring grooves again. 2 or 3 spots will be just fine. Alright, the reverse drum ones are going to go like that. High drum ones are butt cut. Alright, pump's ready. Here's our gasket to go between the pump and the... Alright, you got plastic washers like this. 2 tabs go in here. Your sprag assembly. Here, we're turning clockwise, locking counterclockwise. Alright, this bearing is going to sit on top of that support. This is going to sit on top of that. These lugs are going to have to line up into here. We're going to have to feel for it and make sure that they drop down in there. Find 2 of these holes that are 180 from each other. This other plastic washer is going to sit there. Alright. We got one of these bearings is going to sit right there. We got 4-tab washer. Going to go on here. It's going to sit on there. This clip's going to go on the output shaft, and it's going to sit right there. This bearing is going to sit right there. This gear is going to go with that face down. This is our planet we talked about, and the tear down of welding the pins and grinding it down so that the bearings don't hit on both sides. This is the big one right here, making sure that bearing is sitting flat. We got this bearing, it's going to sit on the back side here. Put all this together and make sure that you know, it's not rubbing anywhere. I'm going to make damn sure of that. Sun shell, got a 4-tab washer that fits on the back. Wrong bearing, and we got actually that's wrong too. The earlier models had a bearing that looked like this that sat here, and the face back here had a washer on it, or no, I think it was just ground smooth so that the bearing could ride on it. If your hub looks like this, you got to have a bearing that looks like that. Goes in like that, and your hub goes on, and that bearing goes on top right there. In your high drum, the bigger washer goes on the back here, and the tabs go right here. The little washer goes in here, and go to the outside, and your reverse drum sits on top, and this goes on the output. We don't need to worry about that. We'll get our bell housing up here and put our pump together. These gaskets are on there like concrete. I usually just take as long as the gasket's intact, I'll just take a little bit of silicone and put on here to help seal it. Most times you don't even need that, but I just do it as a precaution. If you want to sit there for hours trying to scrape that thing off, be my guest, but I don't see no point in it. There's 2 check balls in here. You want to make sure that those are free. Going to put our piston in the back there, and let's see if we can get a good shot of this. We talked about the 3 bolt holes before, so that's what I use to line it up. Alright, so now just get the one that has the 3 bolt holes. my race in there. And then these 40 Torx bolts are what go in here. Gonna be a while.
Yeah, I'm just gonna see what you're gonna finish today so I can start doing something else.
Yes.
That Nissan?
Yeah.
That's it, right, today?
Well, the drum hadn't showed up for the 62 TC yet, so that probably ain't gonna go. The BMW definitely is not going. Alright. Let me change camera angles. Battery's about to die. We'll be back. Alright. We got the cushion plate dished down. We have this wide opening here. It's going to go down here at the 630. These different thicknesses again. Here again, I think they're like 62 and 79 if I remember right. I'd have to look it up. Alright, this is our last steel. On that last steel we got this piece. This little lip right here is going to sit on that steel. And our pressure plate's going to hold that in. Opening at the 12 o'clock. See if I can move that snap ring over. There we go. Alright, now our drum. Once the clutches start splining in, the sprags are going to come in at some point. We're going to only be able to turn one direction. This is where it's imperative that those sealing rings be back in the groove, otherwise you're not going to get the drum in. Can be a pain to get that all lined up. There we go. All right. this all over. We got that bearing with the lip down. We got our hub. Alright, it's all the way down. Our washer. Our sprag assembly. We're going to have to make sure that those lugs lock in down there. There we go. And our bearing. Our front planet. I mean our rear planet. I'm going to put our output shaft in. Dropped it too hard. Alright, put our output shaft in. And we're going to put our snap ring in. Taper the tips out towards you. Okay, pull your output shaft back, make sure that's seated in there. Make sure it's down in that groove. Put your bearing in, your sun gear, front planet. Bearing. Should have put our servo in already, but it'll be alright. Sun shell, our bearing, our hub, other bearing, high drum with our 2 washers on it. And our reverse drum. Alright. Now, your 2 lineup pins for our servo. Keep our gasket in place. Notice the gasket has a cutout. That cutout goes right there. And 4 10mm. Got our adjuster. Our band goes with this. Sometimes the replacement bands doesn't have this type of lining. If you got all these lines down here, that goes towards the bottom, this goes towards the top. Sometimes you still got the marking on it, that goes towards the servo, this goes towards the adjuster. Sometimes you don't have any of that. If you can look at the lugs here, usually one's thicker than the other, and it normally goes up towards the anchor side. Now, adjustment on this is, I believe they call for 2 turns. I don't normally end up at 2 turns. I'm usually at like 1.5 turns. Sometimes I'm at 2, but I don't set the adjustment now. I'll set it later. After I get my pump in. Our gasket is metal. I'll line that up right there. Alright, 14mm pump bolts. You need to put a dab of silicone between the bolts and the bell housing. Don't take much. All you're going to do is squeeze it out of there, so just use enough to get the job done. Alright, put our input shaft in. Sometimes you gotta play around with it a little bit. Put our O-ring on for lockup and lube that up. Alright, gotta change camera angles and we'll be back. While you got your tranny out and your harnesses out, it's always a good idea to look your harnesses over, especially when the insulation is gone like on here. You can see that these wires are all melted together. So before they go back in the vehicle, we're going to have to repair all this stuff. Double check the rest of this, make sure it's okay, but probably only right here is where our problem's at. And supposedly this vehicle had no codes and was working fine, it was just leaking. I find that hard to believe. So we got an O-ring on our speed sensor, we got an O-ring down here. So like I say, normally these break, these tabs that hold it in, so I just silicone it. Get a view of this. Use a really good grade of silicone, ultra black, something like that. Don't use that cheap crap, that especially that orange stuff. That's junk. And this stuff will just leak. Alright, let's see if we can get a view up here. Let's get our accumulator spring that goes down here. Inch 689, 704, 90. And a couple of these are real close in size, so make sure you're getting the right one on the right one. Alright, spring up here, 2 inches 251, 675, 93, 1 inch 770, 1 inch 158, 161, 2 inch 595, 782, 127. All right. In the back of our case, we have this bearing. It's going to go in just like so. We got our park gear. We and go on just like that. And snap ring with the taper of the tips out towards us. Check our end play. And I want to find out what that's supposed to be. It's a little loose maybe. Let's go ahead and change our lever seal. This can be a little tricky. It's got this little roll pin in here, and it's kind of hard to get this line back up. Try not to cut it. Alright, 3/4 on the nuts. Difficult. Alright, let's see if we're out enough to get our linkage to come out. Not yet. We're going to have to repair this harness. It's all melted. I cannot believe this did not have codes. Yeah, let's see. Feels like I'm fixing to cut it. And I definitely don't want that to happen. I generally don't mess with these just because of this. I've never had one leak. I used to take them out. This pin is such a pain. The first time I cut one of these pins in half was last time I did it. Like I said, it's really hard to find it where it goes back in. think we're really close. It starts bending it. It's just a pain. There we go. And my baby heel bar. Seal itself comes out easy enough. It's just that stupid pin. Alright, seal goes in with the spring side in. Alright. See if we straighten this out a little bit. Alright, I think we're good. Sounds pretty solid. Leverage on that. All right. Oh. Gotta check our end play, and I want to go ahead and adjust my band. Hopefully that comes in there good enough. The way I do my band is I tighten it all the way up, make sure we're loose. Alright, get it kind of straight. Tighten my band all the way down so I'm tight. And I back off a turn and a half. And if my band will move and my drum will move, it's a little too tight, so I'll go a quarter turn. There we go. So I'm at 1 3/4 turns right there. A 14mm nut on our adjustment, and I go ahead and tighten it with an impact because it likes to back off. Impact going the wrong way. Go ahead and tighten it back down, make sure we're where we need to be. Half, 1 1/2, and a quarter. All right. Trying to remember where our air checks are at. I think this is forward and direct there. It's our band. That's a release. That's a release. That's an apply. That's an apply. No reverse. Overruns. And I think this is our forwards right here. Nope. Which ones are you? This one? Nope. Alright, that's forward. That's low reverse. Where's our overruns? Right there. Guess I just didn't have a good seal. Alright, let me find out what our clearance is supposed to be. Alright. You got this filter. It goes... where did it go? Damn it. Got myself all screwed up now. Where the heck did it go? Did it go? Oh, right here. And this little spring with your orifice check valve goes right there. This little filter goes right there. If your channel plate has gaskets that come off, just throw them things away. If it's a bonded plate, then it's fine, but I always threw the gaskets away. Every builder I've ever known's always thrown them away. In fact, I think there's a deal out there from ATSG or ATRA that says to leave them off. And RL units, I believe it was only them. There was a check ball that went in there. Pay attention to where your brackets went. Some of them are different. Some of your pipes are different. That changes everything about your filter and everything. So be mindful of all that stuff. There's only like 8 different filters that fit this unit. Well, this time I thought my bolts had started and they weren't even in there. Alright, we're just going to leave that loose. These are the valves I told you to check when we tore it down. All these valves are going to be hung up if you got a planets that come apart or a torque converter that come apart. Especially these valves right here. These valves, this valve, and the lockup valve are gonna, and your PR valve are gonna be just stuck. Usually this is one of those valve bodies that I end up taking all the valves out. Quite common, and you want to check these plugs to see if they're cracked or broken. Make sure you get that plug in the right spot. Now this plug here did not want to come out. I have a hard time getting it back in there. You don't want to go just forcing it in there, because it may not go where it needs to go. And you're screwed. All this stuff should go in and out easy. There we go. Alright, a little too far back. There we go. And we'll drop our other valves and our springs in there. Got a wide end and a narrow end. Like I said, you can break this clip off if you want to. That's what either ATSG or ATRA recommends. You just break the clip in half and put it in 2 pieces. I just stick it in, and I make sure that my springs are kind of centered in place. You can get a paper clip and push them up in there if you need to. Another way that you can do it go ahead and stroke your valve all the way, and it'll straighten that spring out. It'll also allow you to make sure that you got full travel on your valve. Alright. Alright, we got 9 check balls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Got our line-up bolt. Got our washer down here, our other line-up bolt. And there we go. Everything's lined up now. We can actually go ahead and tighten these down if we wanted to. I'll just do it all at one time. Once I get in a groove, I try to stay in it. Alright, I got this bracket that goes here. This bracket goes here. This bracket goes down here. We've got that bolt goes right there. Bolt goes right there. So long bolt, short. Alright. All these are 10 millimeters. You want to line your brackets up best you can. Alright, 2 10 millimeter nuts back here. Alright, acceptable limits was 7 to 21.7, I think it said. And I was at 42, so I shimmed it up and got me down to, what did I get down to? 10. I got down to 10. And I put my linkage on backwards. Dadgummit. And y'all were looking at that and saw it and you just didn't say nothing. Got to put my detent on there anyway. Alright. Maybe we can get our valve body on now. Got long and short bolts. Short bolts go on the inside. This bracket here goes up here, a long and a short. You're going to leave these three out and this one out. Those go to the filter. Actually, I guess that would have been 9. (42 minus 33). Alright, gonna need a chrome tin to get in here beside these brackets. Put our wires in here. This gray and tan one go over here. This tan one goes into here. This bracket clips on back here, and then just roll it over and clip it in. Temp sensor bolts in right there. Alright. Our filter. You got different pickup tubes for different pans depending on how deep they are. And then there's differences on these indentions back here depending on what valve body you got. So you got to make sure and match all that stuff up. Keep my filter bolts separate. Hand gasket. And two brackets go up in the front. And not all of them have these brackets, so don't worry about it if they don't have them. Gonna be a pain. Neutral switch has this little tip on it. It goes in this little hole right here. Make sure it's all the way forward. The little pin back here is going to line up on here. And there we go. And this little bracket flips over like so. Move this back. Got the 3/8. Go on the neutral switch. Your 10mm goes on here. Put the tranny in neutral. And you need a drill bit that fits in that hole. It's a little small. You need a drill bit that is, or you don't have to have a drill bit, just something that's 155 thousandths in diameter. And you're going to stick in that hole. You're going to stick in your neutral switch. Once that's all lined up, you can tighten that down. There we go. And your neutral switch is lined up. Your wires behind there. We got our pivot pin. Got our actuator. Our springs are going to sit on top, like so. Loop in right there. This is going to sit on top, and the spring's going to fit around it. Make sure that that goes all the way down, because if it pinches your spring, you're not going to be able to get park. Put some silicone on here. You don't need much. Most of it's going to squeeze out. Before you pull your rear seal out of your tail housing, make sure that you got the right one. Because sometimes you don't get the right one. And put our park rod right in there. Pivot pin's going to go in the back of the case. This bracket here goes in the bottom hole. This bracket here goes right there. Short bolts go in the very bottom. The longer bolts go everywhere else. And I think that's pretty much it for this one. And a filler tube O-ring. And put my rear seal in. And we're done. Now, some of these have a speed sensor that go in right here. And this is the gasket for it. It would go right there. Two 10mm bolts, and it goes all the way through to the pump, so make sure you take that out before you go try and do anything with your pump, because you'll break it. Other than that, this is it for this one.